Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. It's January 23rd, and this is the daily NBA show that we've been doing with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. So far in this show, I've been 500 as expected. Joe Duffy, not a huge surprise, though, 3-1 with his 4 picks that he's given us so far. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Loshak.
All right, Joe, nice start to our show here. Hopefully you can maintain it, and I know things have been going well for you in general in basketball this year. How have things gone this week?
11-3 with my last 14 basketball-wise. Guy plays college and pro. Got 2 more tonight among 4 winners, Mr. Loshak, at OffshoreInsiders.com.
And those are all NBA picks?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that means that none of those 4 picks are going to be picks that you can give in this video, right?
No, the one that I'm giving is actually a free pick, a pick that I definitely like, which yesterday I told you that I had it written up as a premium pick, but then a couple things scared me out of it. So, no, it's still going to be a strong play.
Okay, Joe, 11 games tonight. We've got some interesting situations, right? We got Toronto, slumping Toronto as a double-digit road favorite at Philadelphia, and that line is headed up from 11 now all the way up to a 12.5. We got Atlanta, of course, on a 19-1 against the spread run, and they're just a 4.5 point home favorite over OKC, who's resurgent. Then we got the Bulls coming off of a big win on a back-to-back. We've got the Spurs off of the back-to-back. That was their loss. We've got Indiana maybe getting back George Hill going up against Miami. So it's an interesting game. There's nothing, to be honest, there's nothing that really jumps out at me that I'm liking a lot. I'm thinking about a bunch of unders, thinking about Chicago, Dallas. I sort of suspected that Chicago game would go under, that Chicago would try to step it up on defense because that had been a deficiency of theirs for a while. And I'm thinking that, on the back-to-back, we'll see the same type of play from them. And Dallas has actually been, a relatively modest scoring team at home this year, although they can always have an explosive game with Nowitzki and go over. So I'm thinking about the under in that one, thinking about the under in Boston, Denver. I like the under in Boston last night, thinking about it again. Denver not quite as explosive offensively as they have been in years past. Thinking about New Orleans and Minnesota under. Both those teams have been trending under recently. I guess before I give my pick, let's start with you. What's your one pick that you want to share with us today?
Well, I'm actually going to go with Boston. Yeah, they are playing back-to-back, and I know the knee-jerk reaction, a lot of people, the public always sees, oh, no, there's a team playing back-to-back in Denver, which has the thin air, and they like to go against them. But we like to check all theories and base our stuff on facts. So teams that are playing in back-to-back situations at Denver are actually 5-4 this year. The Nuggets, going back to '95, they have a slightly better than 500 record against unrested teams, but after the juice, it's still a losing record at 136, 127, and 10. So don't worry about the back-to-back. I'm not saying it's a reverse angle, but don't worry about that too much. In reality, the Nuggets are really struggling. They've got a minus 12.2 net rating in their last 5 games. Now, when I say net rating, that is comparing offensive efficiency to defensive efficiency, and efficiency is measured by points per 100 possessions. It's become a very big stat, not just among handicappers, but among people who like to evaluate true offensive and defensive statistics. So Denver's been very bad as far as that's concerned. One of the worst teams in the NBA during that span. So I think it's a fairly good spot against a slumping Denver team. So Boston is my free play.
All right. Well, once again, getting a lot of points here. Boston plus 8.5 is the line that we can give you for the purpose of this video right now. And I'm thinking about the under 208. We did this yesterday. We both won. You took Boston. I took the under, and both those plays cashed. What do you think about the under here?
Yeah, they have, with that low net rating, what that means is their offense hasn't been very efficient, but their defense has been very inefficient. So I don't know if I have much of a lean either way, though I will say this, it was actually a very modest over when we were talking about the road teams unrested in Denver, both this year and overall, but a very modest over there. So I really don't have any strong opinion on the total.
And then let me just ask about the OKC Atlanta game. I'm sure everyone's wondering about this one. Not a very high line for Atlanta, although it is now up to 4.5, 19-1 against the spread run. How do you figure out how long to keep riding this ATS wave?
Well, the one thing that sharps have been waiting on, and I think even the public, OKC, now that they're finally getting healthy, and it does take, we talked in a couple of our videos about the importance of chemistry. You can't just get key players back and expect them to perfectly fit in. They got to really work on gelling with their teammates, and Oklahoma City is starting to hit a little bit of a stride. What's interesting, they're playing the 3 games in 4 days when you got your 2 star players who maybe are still trying to build up their minutes. In some respects, that works against them. But remember one of my golden rules, when teams are playing well, they don't need the rest. They want to get back on the court. So the fact that OKC is playing 3 games in 4 days, it may not be quite the big advantage that a lot of people are going to automatically think, but also keep in mind that the Hawks, I don't think they're ever going to be caught off guard. They are, and we talked about how do we pronounce it, Nove Riche yesterday, but the fact that the Hawks are truly playing with a playoff atmosphere, this is a team that's been anywhere from middling to a little bit of a playoff contender where they've been eliminated in the first round a couple years ago. They pulled off the upset in the first round. And so this is a first time in a long, long time they've been a legitimate championship contender. So I don't think the Hawks are going to be very vulnerable to a letdown, especially against a marquee team in a high-profile game, and especially playing at home. But again, OKC, I think they're a team that a lot of people, both sharps and the public, think they're about to go on a big spread run because they are getting healthier and they've got the talent.
All right, well, you like Boston on a back-to-back off of a win, and we have the same situation, though, with Chicago, right? Nice win against the Spurs. Now they're getting 7 points on a back-to-back at Dallas. You like Boston. Why did you not, think about Chicago?
Chicago's actually a team that's they've had a couple guys in and out of the lineup. Now, Luol Deng is the latest guy who is questionable in that game. They are playing back-to-back, as you said, and it's a little tough when you've had guys in and out of the lineup. But you have to keep in mind, Dallas is second in the league in offensive efficiency, and the Bulls are 8th. I think you said that you're leaning towards the under, but you've got 2 very good offensively efficient teams. So I'm a little bit nervous about that. But the Mavericks are second in that net rating, which we talked about, the difference between the offensive and defensive efficiency. Second, meaning positive, at plus 7.8 points per game, although the Bulls are pretty solid too. So, I just think that Dallas has been too offensively efficient. And with the question about Deng, and of course we know Joakim Noah has been battling an injury, and we'll get back to that magic word, never underestimate the importance of chemistry. So when you have key players that are bouncing in and out of the lineup, it makes me a little nervous.
I'm trying to finalize my final picks here, and you mentioned that you don't really like the under in Chicago-Dallas, but the Bulls kind of played better defense in their last game, and they're 7-13 over/under on the road, and Dallas is actually 2-7 over/under in their last 9 games. So despite the stats that you cited, they've actually had some pretty strong under trends pointing to this game.
Yeah, as far as the pace is concerned, we're not talking about the old Dallas Mavericks when they had Nash and Nowitzki was in his prime, and they would do a lot more running and gunning. So definitely, as far as pace is concerned, I really don't expect there to be a lot of possessions here. So it's not like I am diametrically opposed to the under, but when I researched my games, I didn't see much of a strong lean towards the total either way.
All right, well, I'll go with my 2 underleans. What the hell? We'll see how it turns out. Joe Duffy liking Boston plus 8.5. That's his free pick for this video. I'm going to take a shot with the under. Right now, 208 is a widely available number, and I'll go with the under in Chicago, Dallas. 206.5 is currently widely available. So those will be my 2 picks. And Joe Duffy, tell us again what you have for sale tonight.
I got 2 wise guy plays, which is, I believe, is the strongest play in the handicapping industry, and so do a lot of sharp players, plus 2 major plays, 4 NBA plays in all for Friday night at offshoreinsiders.com.
All right, Joe, thanks so much. Talk to you again on Monday.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.